Sherilyn Sarkeesian Lapierre Bono Allman, better known to the world simply as Cher, is a true American entertainment icon. She worked her way up from a backup singer for the Ronettes and the Righteous Brothers, launched her career as one half of a Hollywood power couple, and then soared even higher as a solo musical artist and award-winning actress. Looking for the only recording artist to have a hit song in 6 consecutive decades? It's Cher, bitch! And now, as we enter Cher's 7th decade as a working legend, the Great Pop Culture Debate wants to ask, what is the best Cher song of all time? If I could turn back time, I wouldn't waste it by taking back words that hurt you. I'd invest in Apple stock back in the 80s. I'm your host, Eric Rezsnyak. Please help me welcome my panel for this episode, a veritable charcuterie board. Ladies and gentlemen, and flamboyant gentlemen, let's welcome our next panelist. It's Bob Erlenback.
Eric, that introduction has worked for me in every city except for Cleveland, where I just kind of hung there like some sort of a homosexual piñata.
I have one thing to say about that.
Snap out of it!
There you go. Next, Marie Osmond gave him a rain check to see Cher live and get ice cream afterwards. It's Jonny Minogue.
Yo, Aunt Marie, Sherilyn's back in Vegas. I'm ready to cash that check in. So, will it be sprinkles or without sprinkles?
Johnny, it's always with sprinkles. And finally, we have an extra special guest for this episode. She's the oldest drag queen living in captivity, and after the nuclear holocaust, all that will be left is cockroaches, Cher, and her impersonating Cher. It's the legend herself. Please welcome Aggy Dune.
Why, hello, everyone. Hello. Hold for applause.
Applause.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's so great to be here, so thanks for having me.
Oh, we could not do a Cher episode and not have Aggy Dune on, so thank you so much for being here. Before we get to the debate, how does this work? We made a poll with literally every single Cher song we could find. Originals and covers were fair game. While we did not include songs by Sonny and Cher, we did include duets Cher recorded as a solo artist. Our listeners took the poll and picked their favorites. We tallied the votes, ranked the picks by popularity, and added them to a bracket. Now we argue about it and insult each other, all for your amusement. Want to play along at home? You can. Head to greatpopculturedebate.com and go to polls and brackets. There you'll find the downloadable listener brackets for this and every episode of our little show. Do your picks match up with ours? Do you think we should be shot down just like Jesse James? Let us know by dropping a comment on this episode at our website or by yelling at us on Twitter, Instagram, or Mastodon. Now, if you're curious about how we went from the top 32 down to the Sweet 16, become a Patreon supporter of our podcast. Our patrons at the $5 level or higher get exclusive access to the warm-up / part ones for each episode, in which we work our way through all of round 1. It's like a whole bonus episode for each topic, and it includes arguments you will not hear anywhere else. And it's just one of our great Patreon perks, so make sure you subscribe today. With that out of the way, let's find out where you all slept last night and give you your reasons why, and get on with these here debates. We're going to start with a unanimous victory, as the panel all decided to observe pop culture daylight savings time and move forward ultimate number 1 seed If I Could Turn Back Time, stopping 5 seed Walking in Memphis dead in its tracks. Next, the majority of the panel keeps searching for votes for 2 seed Song for the Lonely, but I'm not ready to provide turn down service for 3 seed We All Sleep Alone just yet. I'm not expecting to change anyone's vote here, but I don't want Alone to go out with any comment, so I'm going to go ahead and take it. This was Cher's big 80s comeback album, 1987's inventively named Cher. It followed up the arguably superior I Found Someone, which got bounced in round 1, but this is still a great track. Among the songwriters and producers for it were John Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora from Bon Jovi, and it shows in the 80s rock indulgence of it all. I love the piano riff in the beginning of this song, as well as the synthesizer descending scales. It's one of the few Cher songs where I actually enjoy the backing track almost as much as her vocals. That said, I love the structure of this song. It starts off soft, or at least as soft as guitar wailing 80s rock will allow you, and it crescendos in the middle to this ecstatic howl from Cher, comes back down for a moment to chill out, and then revs up again at the end. It's just incredibly satisfying. The lyrics fit squarely into Cher's wheelhouse of a lover scorned who's moving on after you've done her wrong, and reminding you that someday you're going to get fucked right back. Quote, don't make no promises that I can't keep. I won't be no prisoner of someone else's needs. And you may have lovers wherever you roam, but sooner or later, ooh, we all sleep alone. It's Cher. Like, it is quintessential Cher. But that being said, I argued very strongly for Song for the Lonely in round 1. I'm going to go to votes from my panel. Aggie, where are you on this one?
I think I'm gonna go. We All Sleep Alone. Yeah. It really. You definitely made a strong point. It really does encapsulate that whole era of her in the '80s, of that rock and roll and that like kind of f you to everyone out there. And it's life is on her terms, and she's going to do it her way. So yeah, I am right. We All Sleep Alone. Sorry, Song for the Lonely.
Amen that we do. Let me say that. Bob, where are you on this one?
This is a wild bracket for us because I think I'm switching to We All Sleep Alone because I think for these reasons, I think for everything that we just said, it is so indicative of that era for her. And I think Song for the Lonely is part of a certain era of hers as well. But there are other songs from that era that are going to be way more indicative of that era than this one. Sure. So I think that at the end of the day, I think from a song perspective, it is certainly a better song from a song construction, writing, all of those different perspectives. I argued in part one, here's the shameless Patreon plug, join Patreon and listen to our part one to hear some of this, but the video for this is a selling point because she is smoking. So I need everybody to go YouTube that. Gay men are going to say, am I straight for a second? She's fucking hot. Yeah. So
she is.
Yes.
That's my favorite. It is my favorite, actually, kind of Cher period. She is so beautiful.
The big curly black wigs. Oh God, it's so good.
The leather, the chains, the tattoos on the ass. I want to be that.
I think she directed that video. I don't know if anyone can fact check me on that, but I'm pretty sure she directed that video, which is pretty cool. And I also think, maybe need to fact check me on this, I think they did remix this song later for the Believe album. That may or may not be true. I think I read that in my research, but...
Well, we'll have to get back to you on that.
It was the last track on Believe. It was a remix.
Fabulous. Thank you. Jonny, by the way, why don't you tell me your vote on this one? Is it going to be Song for the Lonely or We All Sleep Alone?
This was not a matchup for people who have abandonment issues, alone versus lonely. So I hope that you're with someone you love right now. Just to give it a vote, I'm going to give it to Song for the Lonely, just for the fact that I think that there is something that's really powerful about this song. We talked about it in the Patreon behind the paywall version of the show, and I think it does speak to a period of time, and it was part of that kind of crescendo that Cher had in the late 90s, early 2000s into the world of dance music that she really took on for almost an entire decade. So, and it is very nostalgic and has a comforting feeling for people in that time after 9/11. So for that reason, I'm going to push it forward. I'm going to put my vote for it. I know it's not going forward. I'm okay with that. I think I didn't vote for it initially. It doesn't matter. It's not going anywhere. I'm going to stop talking and move along to the next one.
You are fine. We said this in the first part, but I have to say it again here. We are dealing with... There are no bad songs anywhere on this bracket. There are no bad Cher songs. I think we could have done a top 64 and not run out of good Cher songs. But we're splitting hairs and trying to find the best. And so there's going to be awesome songs, including Song for the Lonely, that go out in round 2 that you're just like, what is happening? But just share with us, not bear with us. And we're going to see where we go. So we will be advancing We All Sleep Alone into round 3. Next, the panel is evenly split between 1-seed Half Breed and 4-seed Save Up All Your Tears. Aggie, why is Half Breed all you ever heard? I will keep a stiff upper lip and defend Tears. I'm going to have Aggie go first.
Half Breed, although it is cultural appropriation by today's standards, it is spectacular. It is her at the beginning of that whole 70s storytelling songs. The visuals with the Bob Mackie like Indian headdress and riding in on the horse and just on her show, just coming out and being on the horse, bareback on the horse. It is just one of those songs that it just brings joy every time you hear it. It is classic Cher. It is in every single concert for a reason. You cannot think of Cher without thinking of Half Breed, Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves, and Dark Lady. So those songs are all kind of intertwined together because of how she does it in the concert. But Half Breed Stands Alone is one of her like greatest songs. So it is Half Breed.
It is kind of like in the lifespan of Cher, much like the Star Wars films. This is her original trilogy, right? You got your Half-Breed, your Dark Lady, your Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves. And I would argue, is this episode 4 or is this the Empire Strike Back of Cher's original trilogy? But regardless, you can't deny the iconicness of this song. So I understand I'm up against a wall here, but I will make this argument. Like many of Cher's greatest songs, this is also a cover. It was originally recorded by another 80s rock icon, Miss Bonnie Tyler, and it was off her early 90s album, Love Hurts. It did crack the Billboard Top 40 just slightly, and it is one of my favorite Cher songs. This is Save Up All Your Tears. I've already talked about how I love it when Cher is basically pulling an Angela Bassett in Waiting to Exhale moment where she's flicking that cigarette and blowing up the car. Are you feeling that your partner's ungrateful? Are they taking you for granted? Have I got a cure for you? It's called Cher, bitch, and she is here to put your soon-to-be ex on blast. It's like the lyrics of this song are just so quintessentially Cher. You got used to my touch. I got used to not feeling much. You think that you won't feel the pain now, but your eyes will be crying like the rain now. Like, it's just, she's slapping and slapping and slapping, and oh, I love it. The piano, the guitars, the absolutely orgasmic ending of the song where Cher's just wailing about her ex will be crying over her, and the backup singers are chanting, "You don't know it now, you don't know it now." Like, the only thing better than being right is knowing that you're proving somebody else wrong. Gay ecstasy. And it is a great hidden key change in the song. I live for that. But it's up against the juggernaut, the iconic song that is Half Breed. I'm going to put it to a vote. Bob, where are you on this one?
Really tough because, yes, you have the juggernaut of Half Breed. I mean, she's been an evil freaking diva for 50, 60. How it was 40 at the time when she said it in the concert, for 40 freaking years. But you know, so it's an iconic song. Save Up All Your Tears, to me, if it may or may not be true, and others may or may not feel the same way when I say this, it feels like kind of a spiritual sequel to If I Turn Back Time, just from its sound overall. And it's a great song. I love it. I think it's less of the standout for me than it would be from, you know, her trilogy, as we're calling it at this point, because that's how she puts them in the concert, ties them all together. But I'm going to go with Half Breed because I just can't. I'm not going to pepperoni argument it, but at this point it can't go out quite yet.
I hear that. Jonny, where are you?
I actually had Save Up All Your Tears going to the final two, so I'm going to give a little bit of an argument for it. I think it is of all of those songs of that era, I think this is actually the best one. It may not have been the most popular. It didn't crack the top 40. It was kind of on the side. It was in that period of time when pop music was going out and grunge music was coming in. So people like Cher and others of the ilk were just going out of style. And unfortunately, this song was kind of a victim of that. I think if it was a year or two earlier, I think we would be talking about it in the same type of way. The lyrics are so powerful. The key changes are powerful. I think it's a better overall song than most of the songs of the Bon Jovi era of Cher. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it gets enough of that, the recognition and the accolades that it really, really deserves. The video is some of the most iconic images of Cher. You see, they talk about it in If I Can Turn Back Time, and you would think that some of the images that she has are actually or things that you would even see in Save Up All Your Tears. So I'm absolutely 100% voting for Save Up All Your Tears over Half Breed. I see that you have your doll there, Aggie. I appreciate that, but this is my personal thing. I know it's not going forward, but I just have to give it the credit that it's due, and it doesn't get enough credit, and it really deserves to be more well-known, and I will continue singing it at karaoke until everyone either loves it or gets sick of me singing it.
The last part of that will never happen. I do need to explain for our listeners, as this is an audio medium. Aggy Dune, who is a Sheriffinalia fan, I think is what we described it, correct?
Yes.
As we record this, is in a room with everything Cher behind her. I'm living. And as Jonny was making his argument, was taking her Bob Mackie Cher doll in the half-breed outfit and putting it to the screen. I assume, Aggy, you were making a statement. There is no Save Up All Your Tears Cher doll, is there?
Because her outfit in that is crap. It was so like, so like I got it at the mall. I'm wearing my little leather teddy with a pair of cutoff jeans with it. It's not
I don't want any fucking H&M.
Exactly.
It's not her greatest look.
So
it's true.
But
we're talking about best Cher song, not best Cher outfit. We're talking about outfits. I give it to you.
She's a fully visual like artist, where the outfit is as much about the song as the video and all that. But I will say I do agree with you that "Save Up All Your Tears" is like probably the best song in that era for her. It is a really amazing song, but it's tough to go up against the most iconic. So how's this? I'll compromise with you. I will do "Save Up All Your Tears" at my next show, and so that more people start getting more exposed to it. So maybe we can get it to
I love this.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yes.
We can come. We have a multi-city resurrection of "Save Up All Your Tears" in different ways. So I'm all for that. So
this is the gay agenda, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we spend our time conspiring what to do to teach your children about Cher songs. So no, I love it. Even Jonny, even if you and I stayed with "Save Up All Your Tears," it's irrelevant because Half Breed is a 1 seed. It's going to advance as we're at a tie. So we will be moving forward with that. I just have one last point to make on this, which is
Wagon Wheel, what 2 seed?
there you go. So next, it's another unanimous victory, this time for 2 seed Strong Enough, which took 6 seed All or Nothing quite literally, as it booted it right out of the competition. The majority of the panel really does believe in Life After Love for 1 seed Believe, but I am looking to pick up votes for swingin' 70s song Take Me Home, a 4 seed. Jonny, break through. There is talking to me about why Believe should advance. I will go first talking about Take Me Home because I know I'm not going to win this. But I need to have a moment to talk about 70s Cher because it doesn't get enough. It's not enough on this bracket. And generally, I don't think people respect that period from her enough. She was a disco queen. She had some really terrific disco songs, some of them lesser known. Take Me Home is probably her most successful disco song, I would argue. It's the one that I think most people at least recognize. It is fabulous. It is flirty. It is fun. And if you're not boogieing by the end of the song, I really genuinely think something is wrong with you. It's just infectious in all of the best words, and it probably led to some infectious encounters in the evenings after the disco's closed. But that being said, I'm not going to sway anybody because Believe is, I mean, you want a pepperoni argument. Believe is the pepperoni argument of the Cher bracket, even though I'm going to put my cards on the table right now, like Dark Lady. I don't care for it. I don't care for Believe. And I'm so eager for you guys to tell me why I'm wrong about that. But I'm going to guess we're going to go to votes on this. Aggy, are you sticking with Believe?
This is a tough one to put them against each other because I live for the 70s Cher. That is like when she was just... She was it. She was totally it. And when she came out in her concert in the full beaded outfit, the bodysuit with the matching wig of the same beads, literally clutched my pearls, gasped, and held my breath for the whole thing. It was like, I'm in heaven. It is because again, it's where the clothes and the visuals and all that marry together with the song that it just makes it so amazing. Believe is that song that reintroduced her, so I appreciate it on the level that it brought her back into the mainstream for so many, and that the song was so big at that. For a woman her age to have that going on is just, I love Believe for that. I know I'll get up, but I really love Take Me Home.
All right. So if you had to pick one for this matchup, and I will point this out, if it's a tie, again, it doesn't matter. Believe
I'm going to take. That's a 1 seed. Take Me Home. Take me home.
Okay. Now, if somebody else switches, then we have some interesting shit going down. Bob, where are you on this one?
I can't go with an argument in the previous matchup of iconic era-defining songs and not say that Believe is that, and not make that same argument to move it forward, at least at this level of the bracket, because it is just that, one of those things. I will say I love Take Me Home. Shout out to Derek Makita. Well, he loves us for ever pushing forward a disco song, but not here, not now. I love Take Me Home. I saw a really great performance of this in Toronto on Halloween way back when, and she did special costumes for that show, and none of the male dancers were wearing pants. They were all in their skivvies. It was so good.
How God intended it, and God being Cher. That's what we want. Yes. Yeah. So thank you.
That being said, I'm pushing Believe forward.
I completely get it.
I just have to say, I actually bought one car. I bought my Range Rover Evoque because one of the keys on the touchscreen said "Take Me Home" is to for the navigation, and I just bought it's got Cher in here. I'm buying this "Take Me Home," and I would say it every time I pressed it.
She better get royalties every time somebody pushes that button. That's all I have to say.
Saying.
Get your agent on that, Cher. Jonny, what about you? Where are you on this one?
Okay, so I guess I'll save my argument for another round. So I was going with Believe. So I have
go ahead, yeah, because at this point it's actually a tie. You can go ahead and make your argument. I didn't think I was going to sway anybody.
Oh, okay. Well, I have plenty to say. So, I mean, this is the game changer of Cher's career. I mean, there's nothing else that really is going to live up to that. I mean, you have to think about, first of all, there's really three reasons. You got one. Talk about where she was in her career. She was coming out of her "It's a Man's World" period. She wasn't doing a lot. It was a bit of a career quagmire. She hadn't been acting for about 10 years. She needed something to kind of get everything kind of jump started. And she was told to, let's do a dance album, because that's kind of the way things are going. She was not interested. She was like, I've done a disco album. She's going back to the Take Me Home era. She's like, I don't need to do this. I've already done this. And, honestly, it's a good thing that someone convinced her to do it, because it was part of not only did it revive her career, it was a way for her to get catharsis after when Sonny died. Sonny died at the beginning of 1998, and when she was recording this. And so she was able to kind of utilize this song in this album to kind of deal with her heartache and kind of make everybody care about who Cher is again. There is kind of before Believe and after Believe. She also created the song Believe was an out-of-the-box dance song. More before that, it was like you'd have the album version and then there would be a third party to go in and do a dance remix. They had this for Believe, but this was out of the box. You could play this on the floor. I remember being at the Grotto in Northampton and would hear Believe 3 times a night. I would hear 2 remixes and the album version because it still slapped. It still worked the same way that any other remix song of that song would do. It got to number 1 in 21 countries, and including America. She hadn't had a number 1 in over 20 years. This was amazing. This was such a huge thing. She had this her first solo. It was amazing that she was able to do it. She was 54 when this song came out and we came to number 1. She was the oldest person to have a number 1 album and number 1 song on the Billboard Hot 100. You can take it with you want about the auto-tune. It's a good thing or a bad thing, but you know what? That term auto-tune for the first year was called the Cher effect. Mm-hmm. And she set 21st century music going forward from there. Whether or not you say that's a good thing or a bad thing, it was game changing. And there is no other song that had that same kind of resonance for music going forward than Believe was. And it's a beautiful song. Just think about listen to Adam Lambert do the tribute at the Kennedy Center. You can break it down. You can take away all of the bleeps and the bloops and the blah, and it is, at the end of the day, an absolutely beautiful, amazing song that transcends genre, age, time, and all sorts of things. So that's my vote. when I put "What's your religion" on applications, I say I believe in life after love. That's my religion.
Well done. That's an excellent argument, Jonny. And I was just going to let you save it till a future round because I knew Believe was not going to go out. But I'm pleased that I at least got one person to sway for Take Me Home, justice for 70 Cher. But we will be advancing Believe next in a completely surprise matchup from round one because both of the favorites went out. We have 6 seed Welcome to Burlesque versus 7 seed The Way of Love. And I have no pithy little introduction to this because I didn't have time. Who here is going to, I'm assuming Aggy's going to argue for Welcome to Burlesque, correct? You would probably pick that?
Yes, I'm going to pick Welcome to Burlesque. It is, again, that next era of her, it's sort of like she's like a caterpillar that just keeps turning into a different butterfly over and over again. And this was that other moment coming out into that to showcase her with the new up-and-coming singer of the moment, which was Christina Aguilera in Burlesque. And then it got to introduce her to a whole new genre of gays to worship at the feet of Cher. So Welcome to Burlesque is just such a great, fun, campy, it's a great song to perform to because it's just, you can just stand there. It works for brunches real easy because it's you can just put your hand out and they just slap a little bit in there. So to me, it's just for a performer. Welcome to Burlesque is just a great song to perform to. So I'm going to stick there.
Bob, where are you on this one?
I am going to take Welcome to Burlesque. When Cher said, "Follow this, you bitches," she was referring to Christina Aguilera, so I think it's kind of fun that she's in that movie with her. Not that that's a reason to vote for the song, I just think that's for everything Aggie said, I'm voting for Burlesque.
Jonny Minogue.
They're so very different. They're such very different eras. I have to kind of think about this and
Do you want me to speak?
What's that?
Do you want me to speak on Way of Love?
No, I think I'm gonna go with Burlesque. I think The Way of Love was a beautiful song of of that early era of Cher, but I think I'm gonna go with Burlesque because I think that she's kind of tying in the old, the legend that she was with some of the new generation with Tina in there. So I'm gonna go with Burlesque.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to still vote for The Way of Love here. It's a ballad. I guess you could argue that Welcome to Burlesque, it's more of a show tune than a ballad to me. But it's a great little song. It's a great little MC number. It's kind of the beginning of cabaret type action, gives you some insight to her character, and it's cheeky and fun. But for me, The Way of Love is one of the only true ballads I think we have left on here. I could be wrong about that, but I feel like it's one of the last remaining legit ballad, not like rock ballad. And this is from early in her career. It's a showcase of her powerhouse vocals very early on. It's not as refined as some of her later ballads are, but I still think it's super evocative. And she kind of comes in about 2/3 of the way through that song, and she just wallops you when it kind of the big brassy boom, boom, and she just takes it away and tells you about how you're going to be left heartbroken if you love this man just like you did to me. And I love the drama of it all. But I'm completely fine with it going out to Welcome to Burlesque, which will advance into round 3. Next 3/4 of the panel are gypsies, tramps, thieves, or possibly all of the above, as they are pushing ahead with the 1 seed song of the same name. But Aggie is defiant in her support of 4 seed You Haven't Seen the Last of Me. Jonny, forget about what the people in town would call you and do your best to move forward, tramps. Aggie, explain why we haven't seen the last of me. And I'm going to have Aggie go first on this one.
You Haven't Seen the Last of Me. As we spoke before about, it's just that song that was the perfect song at the perfect time in her career. Of just every time that you think that Cher, we've seen everything that she's going to do. We haven't heard from her for a year or so as she's kind of regrouping and figuring out her next move. And then this song comes out, and when she's got to be in her 60s when she's singing this one. And it really just speaks to how it's this song that was written specifically for her that speaks about her entire career. Her voice is amazing in it. I would say it's not really. It falls into the ballad kind of category, but it's definitely that power, like F you to all of you out there. You've counted me out 100 times over and over again, and I just keep coming back. So to me, it's that I'm still holding out for that. I'm holding out for You Haven't Seen the Last of Me. It's powerful. It's beautiful. It's just the perfect song at the perfect time for the perfect performer.
Excellent argument. Jonny, talk to us about Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves.
Well, I'm glad that she was born in the wagon of a traveling show. And I have a whole bottle of Dr. Good. I'm drinking it right now, which is making me want to talk lovingly about Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves. One of the things that I think storytelling Cher does in a way that is stands apart from the rest of Cher is that it's very unique. It speaks of the time, but she has a point of view which is very different. You also have to remember at the time when this song was coming out, she was like the Sonny and Cher show. That was really her claim to fame. That was what everyone knew her as. This was really stepping out of the box. Like, who is this TV show that they just do drums keep down, and it's the Sonny, it's that kind of hokey pokey Sonny and Cher stuff, which is funny and which is cute, but this really takes it to another level. She's talking about meeting a guy who knocks her up when she's 16 and then runs away, and people treat them like shit because they are not of that town. They say gypsies and then America. I think the terminology is, it's kind of hard to say. It's kind of, they're taking a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but honestly, it weaves a story with that, who this person is, and where they start with the first lyric where they say, born in the wagon of the traveler show, my mama used to dance, and then Papa would do whatever he could do, and then at the end it circles back, mama used to dance with Mommy they throw, and Grandpa did whatever they do. And so now she's becoming the dancing girl because she now has to take care of her child just like her mother did. And it is a story in not that many words, but you can see exactly what this person is and who she's singing about. I love this era of Cher. I think this is, I don't know if it's the top of song storytelling Cher that is my favorite, but I love this song because it just has such a very interesting sound. It's kind of boppy and sounds fun, but it's really kind of a dark subject. But it's well-rounded. It's great. It is early in Cher's solo career, and I am going to put my vote behind Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves.
One thing that occurred to me while we were making your argument is that I don't know about other artists at that time, but I feel like she was one of the first bad girls, right? Like, she did songs like this and Half Breed, and even in Dark Lady, she straight up kills a woman. Like, and I feel like other pop stars, especially women of the time, you had to be presentable, you had to be upstanding, you had to be that kind of perfect kind of, it was the 60s, so obviously things were changing, but like, it was really kind of, scandalous to a certain degree. Obviously it was not around at that point, but I have to imagine that for, average suburban America, this was probably pretty shocking as subject matter for songs. So that's interesting. I hadn't really thought about that going in here. Bob, where are you voting on this one?
It's a Sophie's choice right here for me. It's two very difficult songs to pick between. I really like what you actually just said, Eric, to a point of, yes, I think You Haven't Seen the Last of Me is an incredible song. I stumped for it and said wonderful things about it in round one on the Patreon. It's an incredible song that shows such vocal range, such talent, sings to the rafters, gives you everything you want in a Cher ballad, all of those things. But I really like what you said about Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves. It's an iconic song for her. It's part of her trilogy, as we talked about earlier in this round. But it is really something that was defying expectation and doing something special or different, that I think that gives it a little bit of an edge that makes it a true like Cher song to kind of give that FU sort of, I'm going to do something that's different and what people wouldn't expect from me. So I'm going to stick with Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves as I was going to already, but that's why.
What's so interesting is they're both kind of like quintessential Cher songs in terms of the messages, but at two different points in her career, right? Like the first one is her coming out and being like, I'm not the cookie cutter, I'm not Gidget, I'm not like the cute little girl next door or even the goofy person that's on the Sonny and Cher show. I'm an artist and take me seriously as a storyteller. And then the other one is, 60 years later, she's just like, you sons of bitches have tried to knock me out of this industry every goddamn time you get a chance, and I am still here, fuckers. And like, it's awesome. And that really speaks to the breadth of what she's been able to do in her career, which is, I think, part of why she's a gay icon. Like, you can't get rid of her because she's too fucking good to get rid of. And I love that for her. That being said, I am still giving it to Gypsy, Tramps, and Thieves. Even if I didn't, it would advance because it's a tie, and Gypsies is a 1 seed, and You Haven't Seen the Last of Me is a 4 seed, I think. Yes. So we will be advancing Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves. I will... One last thing on Burlesque.
Follow this, you bitches.
Exactly. Finally, in round 2, one more unanimous victory. This time as 2 seed Dark Lady lit the candles one by one and snuffed out 3 seed Just Like Jesse James, which I'm sure makes Cher happy because, as we said before, she hates that song. So congratulations, Cher. You win again. And that is the end of round 2. We're going to take a quick break as I have been saving up all of these tears and now my eyes are paralyzed. We'll be right back.
Hey, squirrel friends! Curtis here from the Great Pop Culture Debate. We hope you're enjoying this episode of the podcast. But did you know, much like RuPaul's Drag Race, if you're not a Patreon supporter, honey, you're only getting half the story. Our patrons at the $5 level gain access to exclusive content for each episode, where the debaters go from the top 32 competitors down to the Sweet 16. It's like a whole bonus episode for each topic. So if you love our content and want more of it, head to patreon.com/Great Pop Culture Debate and become a Patreon supporter today.
And we are back for round 3 of our best Cher song debate. Before we get into the Elite 8, I want our panelists to share their social media so people can make sure that they haven't seen the last of you. I'd also love for you to share some of the other projects that you're working on. I'm going to start with Bob. How can people find you, and what are you working on?
I'm working on this podcast with you. Duh.
Yeah.
You can find me at DisnerdBob on most of the things, mostly on Mastodon, but also on Instagram, and then that crappy Bluebird app that I'm trying to rid myself of as quickly as I possibly can. But yes, at DisnerdBob on those things.
Fabulous. Jonny?
I am Jonny Minogue on mostly everything, and I surprisingly am still the fake Lauren Boebert on Truth Social, as long as that's going on. I currently host trivia at Club Cafe in Boston every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Join us there, clubcafe.com, and where the Great Pop Culture Debate is our trivia sponsor. So we put that up every single week, and I'm part of the Boston Gay Men's Course, along with our producer, Curtis.
Yay. And yes, thank you, Club Cafe, for doing that. We are huge fans. Thank you so much. And special guest star Aggie, how can people find you, and tell us about some of the amazing projects you're working on?
Currently, you can find me on all the social medias at Aggy Dune, Aggy, because that's how it's spelled, Dune, on all the various things from Twitter to Facebook to Instagram to TikTok. The biggest project that we're working on right now is myself, Darian Lake, Mrs. Kasha Davis, and Ambrosia Salad is the Drag Me to Brunch tour that we have going on that goes on. It is every week. It is all over. We're now doing casino tours, and it's a bunch of gals out there on a Sunday with eggs and legs, hash browns and hairspray. So come, if you're looking for a booking, you can find us on Instagram at ROC Drag Me to Brunch.
Fabulous. And as someone who has seen these ladies perform many times, you will not find a better show. They are consummate professionals, a hell of a lot of fun. The eggs, I can't speak to, but I can speak to the talent, and they are top tier performers. So thank you guys for everything you do. You're amazing. Go see them now. With that being said, you can find me at Eric Rezsnyak on Twitter and Instagram. That's ERICREZ as in zebra, S as in snake, N as in Nancy, YAK. Or just message at Great Pop Culture Debate on Instagram or at GPCD on Mastodon. We are still on Twitter. We are aggressively trying to move off of it. And over there we are at culture_debate, which I've never liked. And so I'm glad that we will be killing it. Now let's move into round 3 so I can preach a little gospel and sell another bottle of Dr. Good. We're just going to go around the horn on these Elite 8 matchups. First, it is 1 seed If I Could Turn Back Time versus 3 seed We All Sleep Alone. I'm going to go for votes here. Aggie, where are you?
What are our choices? These are just so hard. You're down to all my favorites.
They're so hard.
It's my favorites.
I know. It's nothing but favorites here.
Do it.
If I Could Turn Back Time or We All Sleep Alone.
Turn back time because I have an exact replica of that costume, and it makes me so much money. That is the go-to. Yeah. It is the, well, here she is. I will bring her down for those of you not watching at home because you can't. Here she is right now. Turn back time. She will live on forever for everyone, not just because of the song, the title of the song. Every time we have daylight savings, everyone gets reintroduced to Cher. Even if you forgot about her for 10 seconds, she's back again. Turn Back Time, it is the perfect song. It was the song that got her kicked off of MTV or pushed to the late night because it was just way too controversial. They now don't let anybody film any videos on any of our naval ships any longer. I said, good for her. She's made her mark in the world. That's all she needs. Turn Back Time, 100%. Not an easy decision, but I look good in the outfit, so I'm going to go with that one.
I love it. And I have to say, so for those who don't know what we're talking about, the video for Turn Back Time, Cher, leather, fishnet outfit with, there's tattoos on her ass. Am I correct?
Sure are.
Oh, yeah. And it was basically two stripes down the front of her that met at the crotch and just up the back. And that was it. It was basically 2 pieces of duct tape.
Yeah, like the Borat Mankini, and I realize even as I'm saying this that if you don't know their Turn Back Time video, you're not going to know the Borat Mankini reference either, whatever. But she's there with a bunch of sailors on a fucking battleship. She's straddling a giant cannon, and if you say to yourself, what could be gayer than Cher straddling a cannon? I say to you, it's already a ship full of seamen. It's gay enough. And so, like, what a winner, right? It's an incredible video. It is not like reimagining anything. It's no like artistic achievement. It's just fucking great. And she is serving in that video. She is just full on. See you next Tuesday in the best possible way we live. Bob, how are you voting here?
Well, I was today years old to find out that MTV plays music videos. Wait, what? Just kidding. So I'm going to give it to Turn Back Time, but I just want to say that We All Sleep Alone, if it doesn't go forward, like, we've done a really good job with that song, and we've paid really good tribute to it, and it goes off into the night pretty well. So, but Turn Back Time.
It does. We took it out to Red Lobster and we fucked it real good. Jonny Minogue, where are you voting on this one?
I'm going back to the same place that ended World War II and vote for If I Could Turn Back Time, because the USS Missouri, where the only had not one but 2 huge items that happened there, events ending World War II, and Cher shaking her ass.
Exactly.
Which is basically the same thing.
Legends supporting legends. That's what I have to say. And I'm going to sweep it for Turn Back Time. Next up, it's Half Breed, a 1 seed, versus Strong Enough, a 2 seed. This is hard. I'm going to go reverse order this time. Jonny, where are you voting?
I'm gonna go with Strong Enough. I think that I just enjoy the retro disco Cher in that song. It was part of that revolution and the revivement of Cher's career at that point. I think that I don't think either one of these songs are bad, so it's really not it's not picking one good and one bad song. I'm just picking Strong Enough. I think it still is a song that could have lived in 1999, 1979, 2019, 2039. It can keep going on and on. It is eternal. It is still a great dance song. If I hear it, I'm ready to dance. So I'm just gonna give Strong Enough a little bit of love.
All right, Bob, where are you on this one?
I'm also going to give Strong Enough a little bit of love on that. I think, it's which of the trilogy is it up against again? Half-Breed, right? Like, so we have Half-Breed, we have Dark Lady, we have Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves, all part of that era. I think, that's not the one of those three that I would necessarily put through over the others. And so I think Strong Enough deserves a little bit of a chance to continue on. And it does have that kind of retro 70s disco vibe to it. And, I think that's what I'm voting for.
Aggie.
Strong Enough. I'm going to sweep the category. Yeah, I think that we rode that horse of Half-Breed as far as it's going to go, and I think that it's got more legs on Strong Enough, and it's just fun. It's just a fun song. As Bob spoke earlier when she sang that in Toronto on Halloween. The costumes for it were spectacular. So all of it it's Strong Enough. Oh, I love that song.
And yeah, I'm going to make it a unanimous here. And if you're feeling unhappy about Half-Breed going out in round 3, one of the Holy Trilogy is still going to make it because it's two of them up against each other in the final matchup of this round. And if I can't have actual disco Cher in this bracket, I want to have new disco Cher in this bracket. I think it gives us a different element in the final 4. So we will be making it unanimous for Strong Enough. Next up, it's Believe, a 1 seed, versus Welcome to Burlesque, a 6 seed. I'm going to start smack in the middle. Bob, where are you on this one?
Believe. Move to the next.
Aggie, where are you on this one?
I have to defer to Believe. That is the powerhouse be all end all. So Believe.
Jonny Minogue.
I'm going to go to Believe. I want to just give a shout out to my drag mother. I talked about it in the Patreon event, but I know she's not going to pay for behind the pink pussy play wall. So I have to say, Miss Bubbles, Miss Busty, Burlesque was there. It will always be for you. That will be Burlesque, but we gotta push Believe forward. So sorry.
We got to push Believe forward. It is pepperoni argumenting, but it makes sense. So next and finally in round 3, it's 1 seed Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves versus 2 seed Dark Lady. I think the hardest one in this round. Again, 2 parts. It's the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost. I don't know which one of these 2 songs are, but in Cher iconography. Ooh, it's up there. I'm going to start again with Aggie. Where are you coming down here?
Oh my God, this is truly, I now understand Sophie's choice. This is just, I think I have to go with Dark Lady. Dark Lady, it just tells such a great story. And it is, like you had said earlier, it is not a song that a lot of other singers would have gravitated that she said, yeah, I'm going to kill someone. Dark Lady. And plus, I just love when you play that in any gay bar at any time. If it's piano time, whatever, Dark Lady plays Black Magic till the clock strikes on the 12. Everyone just claps. Exactly. So it's got its own little thing. Dark Lady.
Exactly. It's really the only time as a gay man I've enjoyed getting the clap. Bob, where are you?
There's no wrong answer here. It's a really tough decision. I love both of these. I think they are on an equal playing field, and all things being equal with regards to that. I think Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves is the one that breaks through a little bit more with a broader audience that most people identify and know. More of a knee-jerk reaction of name me an old Cher song. Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves, I think, is the one that comes to mind more often. When I was waiting outside the, I think, Blue Cross Arena in Rochester, New York to get into the concert, and there was this bus sitting out there. These stupid drunk bitches came up and thought that she was actually on that bus and that she was going to get off of it. I'm like, that is a crew bus. That Cher is not on that bus. But they just kept standing outside there, jumping up and down. Come on, gypsies, thieves, and tramps. Gypsies, thieves, and tramps. So anyway, that story doesn't help at all, but I'm just saying it anyway.
That's okay. So are you sticking with Dark Lady or Gypsies?
Gypsies, tramps, and thieves.
Okay. Johnny, did we get your vote yet?
That's what I'm going with.
Yeah. I'm also giving it to Dark Lady here. It is a 2 seed. Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves is a 1 seed. So that is kind of a little bit of an upset. But in terms of which song would I listen to more if you put the gun to my head, it's Dark Lady. It's got that sensuousness to it. There's a great story in Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves too. Johnny did a great job explaining how it's actually like a story of intergenerational poverty. Like it's actually really deep. And Dark Lady is just, here's a woman who finds out that her boyfriend's been cheating on her, and which frankly, let's just say that fortune teller is really bad at business, because there was a way to handle that and she doesn't.
And she tells fortunes with an actual bicycle deck of cards. It's like, it's not even real tarot cards. It's like, that cheap bitch couldn't even buy tarot cards.
She turned up a one-eyed
So
jack.
she got what was one-eyed jack.
I
and
saw
she got what was
I saw red, but my call it still said black. It's so stupid. I love it.
so good. It is amazing. So with that, we are going to advance Dark Lady to round 3, and we have our final 4, folks. We're going to take a quick break to catch that bitch fortune teller who's been jeeping with my man, and we will be right back after these messages. And we are back with the final 4 of our best Cher song debate. At this point in the show, I always like to take a step back and take a look at our final 4. So we have a 1 seed, If I Could Turn Back Time, versus 2 seed in Strong Enough, a 1 seed in Believe versus a 2 seed in Dark Lady. So it's actually kind of rare that it works out that way, I'll be honest with you. Usually we get a couple of lower seeds sneaking in there. Is this the top 4 I expected? I don't know, but I love that we actually have 4 great Cher time periods here. We have like late 80s, early 90s Cher. We have like, it's both disco and new disco Cher. We have late 90s vocoder revolution Cher, and we have OG Dark Lady Cher. Like, that's awesome. We have a great span of her career. I couldn't be more pleased. We're going to jump right into these debates around the horn. It is If I Could Turn Back Time versus Strong Enough. Aggy Dune. Make your choice.
Oh my God, I'm puckered at both ends right now. This is just. Ooh. I have to go. I love them. Turn Back Time. There's just. It is that moment. It is who she is. It is the quintessential Cher song. So, Turn Back Time. Oh my God, I gotta go throw up.
I know, it's hard. It's hard. Bob, where are you on this one?
It's Turn Back Time. Iconic.
It is.
It is a
Johnny.
visual spectacle, the video.
It is the faggotry of it all. Johnny, where are you?
Locked and loaded. Turn Back Time.
Yeah, and listen, I love Strong Enough. I've loved Strong Enough since I first heard it. I like to sing along in my own Weird Al version of it, calling it Stroganoff. But I've got to give it to If I Could Turn Back Time. It's just too iconic and important to Cher not. So next we have 1 seed Believe versus 2 seed Dark Lady. I'm going to go backwards. Johnny, where are you on this one?
I'm going with Believe. I think this song it makes the circle of getting every single type of Cher fan together, whether or not you knew her in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and it's still today. The youngins still know this. They still know who Cher is, because Believe has never not played, especially with the gays. It's never not played at clubs for the last 20 years. And I think that no matter every time I've seen Cher, every single person from the little Twinkies to the old grannies dance and sing to this song more than anything else. That it is coalesces the entire Cher fan base in one song. So I'm going with Believe.
It's a good argument. Bob, where are you on this one?
I'm with Believe. And if I need to say some things, will come back to me.
Okay, fair enough. Aggie?
I have to blow out the candle of the Dark Lady. It's Believe. It's definitely Believe. That was the song that just reintroduced her. It still plays today. You can't go to a wedding without hearing that one. So it's got to be Believe.
If we're asking which of the two songs do I like better, I'm giving it to Dark Lady. If we're talking about which is the better Cher song and encapsulating of her career, I give it to Believe, even though I still personally, it doesn't resonate with me. But that being said, if it's playing at T-Dance down at what is it in P-Town? What's the boat slip?
The boat slip.
And it comes on, and I'm sitting there in my caftan, drinking my Planner's Punch, doing my arrhythmic shuffle because I can't dance. I'm going to dance to it. I'm going to do it. It's just going to happen. It's infectious. Which gives us a final two of If I Could Turn Back Time, a 1 seed, and Believe, a 1 seed. It's the two towers. We were always coming here after all the stops and starts. We were always coming back to these two hearts. Let's be honest.
Oh Jesus!
Oh my God.
I know you had to know it was coming there.
I thought that was buried in the Patreon episode.
No, we're coming. After all, we're coming back to it. Bob, I'm going for you. What's your vote?
Wow. This is when you think about what's going to be in the obituary for Cher, singer of these two songs, right? This is a final to the two towers, as you mentioned. I'm going to, at this point, give it to Believe as we go around.
Okay, interesting. Jonny, where are you?
I had this in my bracket. I had this going up with Save Up All Your Tears. So since that's not there, again, you talk about Sophie's Choice. This is for me the Sophie's Choice, but I'm going to go with Believe again. I think that is the Cher song of Cher songs.
Aggie, where are you?
You can't choose. It's impossible. It's just, I'm sorry. It is like RuPaul's All-Stars. Y'all get a crown. There's
This is not Monet and Trinity.
Can it be just this one time? How? Oh God. I actually perform Turn Back Time more than I perform Believe. Believe. Ugh. Believe. Yeah,
I'm going to add this piece of information into the conversation. Okay. Turn Back Time is the ultimate number 1 seed. It got more votes than Believe. I hear all of the arguments, and I don't think any of them are wrong. Like, it's all completely valid, right? But if we're talking about, like, she had to come back with Believe, and it was very late in her life, after a point where most female pop stars would have been put out to pasture, right? And the fact that she did make a comeback, and it was a huge comeback at that time, is incredible. But she'd already made a comeback 20 years before, or I guess 10 years before, I guess it would be at that point, with Turn Back Time, which was a feat in and of itself. And at that point, like, she was coming after an Oscar win. Like, she was doing stuff that no other female artist at that time was doing. And she was a sex symbol in her mid-40s. That alone was controversial, right? I just don't know if I buy the argument that, like, we have to give it to Believe because that's what re-energized her, when Turn Back Time did the same thing a decade ahead ago. And if the two songs, which one's better? It's Turn Back Time without even a question. Like, Believe stays exactly where it is, and it goes nowhere. It's all right there in a very narrow band. If I Could Turn Back Time puts you on a journey, baby. And if we want to talk about the memeability, yeah, there's some memes around Believe. But, like, as you pointed out, I think, Aggie, like, every fucking year we come back to, it's the song that brings us back to Cher every year. So I'm sticking with Turn Back Time. If you guys want to push forward Believe, that's completely fine. But Jonny, are you changing?
No, because also they're getting rid of daylight savings too. So that's true. I believe that. So
you believe in life after daylight savings?
I believe in life after daylight savings. Hey, it's not just a religion; it's a time.
All right, Bob.
I think, with Believe, it was praised at its time by critics as well. Is, obviously it's using some of the, the vocoder and the auto-tune. It's really the song that brought auto-tune into the forefront. And, it has a memorable chorus, its beats, all of that stuff. It is the song that she ends her concerts with, not Turn Back Time. She recognizes that is something for the crowd. That is something that's going to be, something that's recognized by everybody. It was a huge commercial success. It was on the Hot 100. It was her first number one.
And Bob, I would also add, she doesn't write a lot of her songs. She writes almost very little, and she actually added lyrics to Believe, because the initial song was, they liked the chorus, but the verses were kind of and she added the second verse, and that really was something that, like, the part that's like, I had time to think it through, and maybe I'm too good for you. She wrote that. Even though she didn't get credit for it, she was the one who put that forward as some of the things to make it the song that it is. So most of the other songs, she didn't have that same type of lyrical buy-in.
When you think about When You Haven't Seen the Last of Me, Believe is one of those biggest hits of hers. It remains like one of the most iconic and beloved songs, and it helped really cement her in pop music as a legend in the end, demonstrating her ability to adapt, change musically, remain relevant across decades, across age levels, everything from beginning to end. It's tough to find an age level that isn't going, I guess there's probably tough to find an age level that doesn't love both of these songs. So I will give it that, but it's something that it continued to bring her back. Again, after all the starts and stops, she came back. And here she is with Believe. Believe it or not.
I believe it. Aggie, have you been swayed? Are you staying with Believe?
I'm changing my vote. I am going with Turn Back Time. It was just one of those, it's sort of like you just drove away, you just broke up with somebody, you're driving away going, did I do the right thing? Did I do the right thing? I'm turning the car around. I'm going back. It is Turn Back Time. That is the song that is truly encapsulates who she is. It is the big FU. It is just, it's the outfit. It's the whole total package. Yes, I love where Believe took her career and that it was a global phenomenon. Vocally, I think it's just, Turn Back Time is just a better song. It's just, overall, it is a better song. The visuals are better. I'm sticking with Turn Back Time. It's the song that makes me the most money when I perform as her. I cannot go back on Bite the Hand That Feeds Me. Turn Back Time.
So, Bob and
what are you going to do now? What are you going to do now, Eric? Because, you can't let a tie be in the final two. You can't just go with the seeds as per your rules. So what are we going to do?
So let me tell you what we're going to do, because you and Jonny are intractable, right? You're not going to change your opinions on this, correct?
Not as of this moment, no.
And I don't have a better argument, but on very rare occasions on the Great Pop Culture Debate, we have allowed a tie for the end. I can think Best Muppet ended in a tie with Miss Piggy and Kermit, and I think there's maybe one other episode that we allowed a tie. We are talking about a 60-year span of music, and we are talking about two songs that are, I think, equally definitive for this artist, right? At two different ends of her career. And actually, that's not even accurate, right? Because she's still continuing to go. Yeah. She had hits in 2 decades after Believe.
And this song is going to be 24 years old, so it's
I didn't need to hear that. Thank you. That was a hate crime.
Girl, I'm older than you, so it's all good.
I just turned to dust.
Exactly. But Cher's not dust, and she keeps going. And maybe if we recorded this episode 5 years from now, this might be a 3-way tie for the end, because she's going to have another hit in the next decade. And we're like, well, she's never going to stop. Maybe she's a cyborg. I don't know her life. But I think in this particular case, I'm okay with having a tie. What do we think? Bob,
I'm good with it.
About a tie? Jonny,
I'm good with it.
About a tie?
I love it. I love it.
Aggie, what do you think?
It's the only way that we can all go to bed and sleep tonight. Yes, a tie.
Except we all sleep alone.
True.
That's the other part of it. Yes.
I do.
All right. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. And flamboyant gentlemen, our pick for the best Cher song is a tie because we cannot make a decision. It is Believe and If I Could Turn Back Time. Do you agree? Do you think that we should take back these words which hurt you? Tell us how you really feel by leaving a comment on this episode at greatpopculturedebate.com or find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or Mastodon. While you're there, make sure you subscribe and follow the podcast so you can hear about what new debates are coming soon, vote in open polls, and even decide which topics we tackle next. If you really enjoyed this episode, please take a minute to like and rate the episode of the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or whatever platform you listen on. I want to say thank you to my panel. You make me believe in life after love. And a very special thank you to Aggie for joining us. We really are so honored to have you here. And thank you for listening. If you loved what you heard, please consider supporting us on Patreon, where you get even more exclusive content and you get episodes a whole day early. We hope you have a good one. And remember, everyone is entitled to their wrong opinion.
Snap out of it!